Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. And is this content so lazy I couldn't even bother to sit up for it? Well, that remains to be seen, but the topic of today's video is probably the single most exciting thing it could possibly be about. Is it the new Tyranid stats and index, you ask me? Is it the upcoming Space Marine one? No, get that fucking garbage off my channel. Get that shit out of my face. I actually do really like Tyranids, and Space Marines are fine. But regardless, that's not what we're here to talk about today. We are here to talk about today about the single most exciting possible news from Warhammer, from Games Workshop, from life, from the world. That's right, the possibility of new Kroot models. Everybody just fucking settle down, hold on to your horses, hold on to your butts. Everybody just sit the fuck down, all right? One moment of your time, because we got to shout out the sponsor of the channel, Lord of Skulls. That's right. If you haven't seen me talk about him already, go get all your World Eater stuff from this guy. He's got awesome upgrade helmets, and he's working on a new kit of Terminator upgrades that looks pretty fucking mint. Do you want Angron to have a helmet instead of that nasty pig face? Go check out our boy. Please do yourself a favor. It's all I ask, really. Anyways, now that that's out of the way, down to business. The possibility of new Kroot models. Where does this come from, you may ask? Well, it comes from Games Workshop themselves, believe it or not. They have been posting, as they always do, their rumor engine images, and some beady-eyed little Kroot enthusiasts in the old Kroot Discord, which, if you're not a part of that, what are you even doing? Like, get in the Kroot Discord, boys and girls. That's where it's happening. Anyways, some people in the Kroot Discord have pointed out, and people have already been chatting about it here and there on the interwebs. I'm late to the party, as always. But very suspiciously, these symbols right here just so happen to match up perfectly with the symbols on some of the new Kroot Farstalker kits, which is, of course, the newest Kroot models that we have. My interest is piqued. But that's not all. We also have this newest one, which is could potentially be some sort of a Kroot cloak, with what appears to be the point of something matching that first image, peeking out from underneath it. And finally, we have this last one here, which just the style of whatever this thing is seems to match up pretty close with previous Kroot war gear, whether it's their, ammunition pouches or whatnot. So, three images in a row, any one of them on their own, maybe not so much. Honestly, for me, the one with the symbols perfectly matching up is probably the most compelling evidence. And so it's what looks to me like it's clearly like a bunch of like javelins, spears, large bolts, projectiles, whatever of some sort, right? And so if you're not super, versed in Kroot lore, allow me to educate you. The Kroot, on top of having, they got spaceships, they got, proper firearms and whatever, they also really like shooting, future 40k crossbow or ballista bolts at people. We have from the newest Farstalker kit, we've got this, what's it called? I'm gonna have it pop up on the screen because I forget what it's called. But we got a Kroot with a big, like, two-handed crossbow gun type thing. We actually have two of those different things. I think one was called like the accelerator bow, something like that. Anyways, I'll have them popping up on the screen right now. So we've got two bolt crossbow style weapons from that. Also on the old Great Narlock kit, we used to have the bolt thrower option for it. So it is established that Kroot will use these sorts of weapons. Now, to me personally, these look to be quite big, and they honestly almost look more like javelins, like that would be thrown, or else they're for something quite big and heavy duty. Now, we got the new Farstalkers. The Kroot Carnivore kit is pretty solid in my opinion. It doesn't need an update per se. And we have established with that new Farstalker kit some updated carnivore models as well as some hound models. So we've seen those. But what from the current Kroot range do we not have yet? I don't know. Fucking Donkey Kong over here? Exactly. There was rumors about it long ago that we were going to get a Crutox, possibly for Kill Team, and we never did. I suspect that this is part of a new Crutox kit, and what they're showing us is the rider weapons, and is purposely leaving out the actual mount itself. There's so many different directions they could go with this. I have been praying for a new Crew Talk kit for so long, and I've sincerely hoped that they don't even necessarily need to be that much bigger, but maybe a little bit bigger, not monopose. And I want them to be taken in units of three, not one. Like one, currently they're 1 to 3. I would like 3 to 6. That makes the all crew army much more viable. You can take a lot more, and give them some weapon options, even if it's like one out of every three in the squad or whatever can take a special heavy weapon. So I could totally see this being a new Crutox kit, and maybe it's an option for the riders to be either throwing javelins or have some sort of like bolt launching weapon on their back. I think that would be super cool. It could even be like you could have like a riderless option for the Crutox, and maybe they have like a handler. So maybe it's like 3 Crutox, and then there's like a Beastmaster style Kroot guy, and maybe he's the one throwing the javelins or whatever. There could be a chariot, could be a Crutox chariot. Oh my god, chariots in 40k, we need more of them for sure. Always. Ton of different directions they could go with it, but that is my fondest hope is the Crutox, although there is nothing pointing towards Crutox yet. If this is Kroot and it's not Crutox, like any of those things I said, throw them out the window. It could just be a new Kroot unit or a new Kroot HQ. Could be some sort of a lone hunter with some sort of cool crossbow gun. Could be an entirely new Kroot creature or Kroot unit that has something mounted on it that fires these things. There's it's Kroot, guys. Like there's endless possibilities for what it could be. I'm just kind of saying what I sincerely hope. I'll tell you what I hope they don't do, although I wouldn't be entirely surprised, because I've seen this quite a bit lately with Age of Sigmar and stuff, where they go and you have an existing unit, let's say the Crutox, and rather than just replace that, say that was the old Crutox, here's the new Crutox. What they do is they keep the old Crutox, and then they make this other new thing that's like the Crutox Prime or whatever, and it's like an entirely different unit. So, but it's like it's essentially the exact same as the old one, and it's like why didn't you just replace the old one? This is the same debate when they made the new Space Marines, right? With Primaris, they're like, why couldn't this just be the new mark of Space Marine, and then avoid all that confusion and complaining and whatever. But I mean, it remains to be seen. It could even completely not be Kroot. That little symbol could be little symbol could be a decoration on a new big model. It could be on a base of something. It could be not Kroot at all. But I find it very suspicious, and I have my hopes very high. But that's about it for today, guys. Just a super quick one, just my thoughts and opinions, whatever. Like I said, extreme low effort content today. But let me hear what you guys think. Do you think this is Kroot? If it is Kroot, what are your fondest hopes? Leave those down in the comments below. I try to read pretty much every single comment. It's not like I get that many. I'm not that big of a YouTuber yet. But anyways, guys, that's all for today. Peace.